Hey Scorpio, Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. I'm serious about that. Don't try to cram anything. If something doesn't seem right to you, or just leave it be. We're not looking for every single card to hit a perfect match with you. We're looking for a majority. If I don't hit your wavelength or storyline here, check your other major placements, or even if you do, it's sometimes just kind of interesting to see what other messages might be good for you. All right, we're starting with the Oracle decks and mystical moments. No, that's not true. We're starting with the Oracle deck of Work Your Light and Moonology, and then we'll move on to the Tarot of Mystical Moments for a more traditional spread. Oh my. Okay, we have luck is on your side. This is beautiful. New moon in Sagittarius. You can't see where something's going, but this is what the new moon here means to me. You can't see where it's going, but luck is on your side. I also feel like sometimes these cards come in when we're talking about things like that feel unlucky to us. Like there may have been a turn of events that were outside of your control. And this is saying that, it might feel unlucky, but it is actually quite lucky. So this card for me reminds me of the Kurt Vonnegut quote, we know so little about life, we don't know what the good news is and what the bad news is, right? So you may have gotten something that feels like bad luck. This is telling you, hold on, let the universe finish its sentence, and before you jump in and say you didn't want that, because it could be unraveling into something that you do want. Or you could just be having some straight up good luck. But the reason why I say that on this card is because of this next card. We have the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? This is the in the Work Your Light deck, this is the Tower. So this is an old structure falling away. It could be very shocking, but look, this new, beautiful new life is coming through here. It's cracking open. I'm seeing like a birth of something, leaving some sort of old behind and cracking open. This is like what it must look like from the inside of the cocoon or something as it cracks open into a whole new world. The cocoon is over. We're done with, right? I'm always saying that the cocoon is the caterpillar's coffin, but the butterfly's womb, right? And so here we're having some sort of rebirth, but something's falling away, something's falling apart. What we knew, the womb, the cocoon that we know, falling away, falling apart, and it's scary, right? When things change externally, it asks us to change internally too, and the ego doesn't like that. Our self-definition wants to stay rigid, wants to stay, we know who we are, we know this, we know certain things, and it wants to stay very rigid. It feels very threatened by that, but something coming in and really changing on the outside, it does change us, right? And so we don't necessarily like external change, and I think it's the ego saying, wait a minute, this means I'm going to have to change too, and I really don't want to. I want everything to be certain. I want everything to be the same way it's always been. I want to be the same way I've been. I'm comfortable here. Don't make me leave my comfort zone. But this is like, listen, honey, your comfort zone, it's not all that. So let's just let the comfort zone go away. It's this institution, it's this old structure in your life that it's outlived its usefulness. We really can't do anything with this anymore. It's like those cute old schools, right? But they can't be heated reliably anymore. They're no longer appropriate for children, although that sounds funny, but they're no longer good for, housing a bunch of children. So you have these abandoned schools, and the new school comes in, and so sometimes, these abandoned schools have to be torn down and the structure has to leave. But we've got really cool, beautiful new things in. But people get very nostalgic and they want things to stay exactly the same. How dare, as they were, right? How dare you close my elementary school? Well, the new kids get a new one, so that's cool. So there's something old falling away, some old structure coming away, something that you maybe relied on and is familiar to you, and you're going to be asked to change. So what are you clinging to? Well, you're clinging to not changing. You're clinging to stasis. You're clinging to everything staying exactly the same because I don't want to change. And that's normal, right? It's very human. What lights you up? Starseed. So focusing more on what the new school, the new building, the new butterfly, what's exciting to you, what lights you up, dreaming of the new future, what your whole new future can entail rather than this old structure. And this, of course, these readings are on a scale of 1 to 10. So this can be some small old structure, like literally your elementary school, no longer existing, and probably people get upset about all the changes all of the time. It's so interesting, especially like on a municipal level. They're like, no, how dare they change that street? And it's like, honey, you're gonna adjust, you're gonna get used to the new way this flows, it's gonna be okay. So, but it's just very normal to resist that. So focusing more on what makes you happy, on envisioning the future. What are you going to do here? What new opportunities are going to come here now that this is over, now that you've graduated, now that you've left your schooling, now that what new things are coming in? What new dreams can you have that this old situation didn't even allow for, didn't even allow for? It just wasn't possible to dream of these other things while this old situation was here. You couldn't even dream of it because this was here, and it was so real, and it was so I want to say heavy, or it was so concrete, like a concrete. I'm actually thinking of a town called Concrete, and an abandoned school in that town. And a lot of fun was had there in the abandoned school. So starseed, what lights you up? What makes you happy? What brings you to life? So this thing falling apart may feel very unlucky, but your job is to focus on this part. What lights you up? What makes you happy? What's, so you may be feeling this unluckiness with this thing crumbling, but this is here to tell you that luck is actually on your side. Dream big of what's possible now. It wasn't possible before, and you couldn't even dream it before. You couldn't even see it. So now, what can you see? What can you dream from where you're at right now? Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, to-do list, possible outcome. I am astounded because the same card showed up in Libra, and there's 2 cards from the Libra reading, but usually they're in different places, but this one's in the exact same place. And I like to see the same cards because it makes me feel like we're all sort of part of a collective experience, and these energies are coming through our lives, but they're affecting each of us very differently. But this one actually shows up in the exact same spot, which I find fascinating. And there's a similar card in the Libra's externals. So in your recent past, we have the Moon card. So this can be what can be tamed, what cannot be tamed, subconscious issues coming up for examination, dreams speaking to us. This can also be what can be revealed and what cannot be revealed, what can be known, what cannot be known, what can be tamed, what cannot be tamed. This often takes a lot of experimentation to figure out even what parts of ourselves we could possibly, make a little easier to deal with, and what parts are just going to be like, no, that I tried for a long time to make that different and it's never going to change. So we're going to accept ourselves here. So the Moon card, and it's also a very strong card of intuition, knowing something. It's just that knowing without knowing. It's that combination where the known and the unknown meet, where the tameable and untamable meet and sometimes cross over. So we have sort of some communication with your intuition, intuitive communication possibly, but seeing something, and it could be getting a glimpse of the future, because that, the knowable and unknowable, where they're intersecting here, because the Moon references the sun, right? It doesn't have its own light, and this is much like intuition. It's not reality. It's not actually glowing, but it references the sun, and it references your place in the universe, and it references where you're at. And the sun is here shining on it, and we can see, even when it's dark, we can see proof of the sunrise coming. We can see proof of it by looking at the Moon, and we can see, where we are in the universe, where we are in time, and all sorts of things. So even though the Moon isn't you know, the hourly timekeeper, it's got information for us, and it hints at a reality that's bigger than what we can see currently. And it hints at a the possibility of future revelations, the possibility of knowing something in the future, knowing that we don't know something, and maybe even getting a glimpse of what it would be like to know that someday we will know that, someday there will be answers, someday everything will be revealed. So we've had some moments in the past, maybe not of understanding something, knowing something, but not knowing other things. And I mean, this is like, that's daily life, right? We don't know everything, but getting some sort of glimpse of the future and wondering if that's possible, if that's real. In your current situation, we have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, this was the one that Libra got in the same exact placement. So Two of Swords, blockheaded swords. So there are twos are like our ones are the initiation of some sort of something, right? And the twos are the resistance, typically, except for in cups. The twos are the resistance against that initiation. So Two of Swords, communication. Swords are communication and thinking. Two of Swords is the resistance to something. So we already know something, but now we're in denial about it. We're not thinking about it. We're not communicating about it. We're not talking about it. Maybe a conversation was started and we shut the door. We did not respond. We left them on red. We don't want to talk about this. We don't want to do this. We don't want to go here. There's a whole journey ahead that we're not ready for. So it is a bit of a denial card, and denial can be very useful because we're not ready for the full truth. Like, we got a little glimpse of it and we were like, oh my, no thank you. That's what these two cards are saying. You got a glimpse of something possibly true, and now it's way back here. You've turned your back on it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see the light. You don't want to see anything. You don't want to see it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to see it. So this could be you, or this could be somebody else. So something, it looks like with this moon card, something was revealed, partially revealed. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to look at it. You're being very blockheaded, and you're going to sit here. You're going to live here in this spot with your back turned to your intuition, with your back turned to what you can know about the situation, and not talking. Oh, very close to talking, but not talking. Staring at it eye to eye, face to face, but not addressing it. Maybe you're not ready to address it. Maybe you don't have the words to address it. This isn't to say, you know, but I think denial gets a bad rap. It's actually can be quite a healthy coping mechanism for something that we're not ready to deal with. And then we keep growing and keep building, keep growing, keep building our inner resources so that we do eventually come to a place where the truth is something that we can handle and we can hold on to. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, we have Seven of Swords. You're afraid of being lied to. You're afraid someone's lying to you. You are afraid of being cheated and lied, right? This is a snake. She's stealing their eggs. Not just some of the eggs, but 5 of the eggs. She's left 2, but that's just because she can't carry them all. So, and here are the mom and pop. They're over here just enjoying the day, flying around the sun. No idea that these flowers aren't actually flowers. So you're worried about being deceived. You're worried about being cheated. You're worried about being lied to. You're worried about someone being very greedy and taking more than they need, right? The snake could actually probably snake's got to eat, but snake can eat 1 egg. Why are we taking 5 and leaving 2? That's not fair. So you're worried about some sort of unfair treatment, possibly some sort of lying situation, and cheating, and that you're not seeing something clearly. Well, honey, yeah, of course you're not seeing something clearly because you've chosen not to. You could, but somebody here doesn't want to see it. So you're worried, you know you're not seeing something. Your subconscious probably made that decision. You didn't consciously decide that. So you are worried. This is like when I don't like being lied to, and one of the reasons is because I know you're lying. I just don't know why and what specifically about, right? So that gives me a lot of anxiety. I'm like, okay, I know there's something here I can't see. And now I'm worried. Now my imagination, it may be the smallest little thing that you're lying to me about, but my imagination has concocted quite a story here. If I let it, it'll concoct quite a story that you're stealing everything, my future, my heart, my soul, my children. And you're just lying about something very minor, but I can't tell, right, what exactly it is you're lying about. So the imagination may be running wild here with fears and anxieties about being cheated and lied to. You've chosen not to see something. You're not, let's just leave the choice out of it. You're not seeing something, you know you're not seeing something, and you're worried. You don't want to see it because you're worried it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad if you do, right? We've got these two birds here, they're not talking. And it's like these two birds know there's something up, but they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to talk about, you know, this loss here and this, they're not talking about it. They're just flying around as if everything's normal, everything's fine, and they both know it's not. So what's at issue here is 7 of Pentacles reversed. So impatience, work having been done but not rewarded, still waiting for the results of your work. This is like last week someone had the checks in the mail. This is like, yeah, is that check actually in the mail? Is it? Because I haven't seen it, and it's been a long time since I sent you my invoice. So having put, either someone's put the work into something and is waiting for a result, or somebody didn't put the work in something and is expecting some sort of payout for it, like this thing. Like they didn't lay those eggs. Why do they get those eggs? They're not their eggs. So there could be actually someone expecting some sort of payout, some sort of wealth, some sort of, you know, the check in the mail when they didn't even you didn't show up for work. Why would I pay you? Why would that happen? So in reverse, it can be either way. Either someone's put a lot of work into something and someone's not paying them, in which case their labor has been robbed of them, their time, or somebody didn't put any work and it still expects to be paid. So, and there's some impatience here. We're waiting impatiently at this point for the results of either labor not put in or labor put in. Either way, we're getting somebody here is impatient for that. In your environment, there's an energy here of moving on. Here, somebody is listening to their intuition finally. Their intuition's pulling them forward. Maybe it doesn't make perfect sense. Everybody else seems happy with the situation. This person here is not happy with the situation, and they can see better. There's something better for them. So even though everybody else has found their mate and is very satisfied here, this person wants to move on. So this could be someone, a relationship where, you know, you're not talking about it. You're worried they're cheating on you. And if they are or aren't, they're definitely ready to move on, right? But you would need to talk about that. Like, if that's not your story, again, don't assign it to yourself. If it's not, don't create anxiety for yourself that doesn't need to be there, right? Because it's not talking about something that could be creating anxiety for yourself. So, but I'm loving your to-do list here. Your to-do list. Okay, so we've got 3 swords here, actually. So there's a communication heavy situation going on, something that needs communication, but communication is being withheld, or you're not talking about it. Someone might be withholding communication, being very sneaky, trying to get away with something. And if they're very quiet, or you're worried about that. You're worried about that. So, and then we've got the 8 of Swords coming up here too. So we've got 3 swords, communication and ideas. And then we've got a wands here, but it's not just any wands, it's the communication wands. 8 of Wands, fast moving communication. Something's moving quickly. This is you. You need to say something, and you need to say something now. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the Knight of Pentacles where we can plod and think and be very careful and see everything. This is like speak up and speak up now. It comes right underneath this 2 of Swords here. So we have this denial, we have this refusal to talk about it. And this is like talk about it and talk about it yesterday, like, and talk a lot about it. This is your to-do list. This is the energy you're looking to interact with. You're looking for an opportunity and opening to do that. Talk about it, talk about it. You have something to communicate. You have not been communicating it. You've been worrying in private, in secret. Someone may be ready to move on here. You need to say something. Speak up. Speak your mind. Communicate. Or maybe even go somewhere. There's movement. It needs to be fast movement. This is your to-do list. I've never literally ever gotten the 8 of Wands in a to-do list before. You would think I had, but I don't think I have. I don't remember it if I did. So 8 of Wands, this is communicate and communicate quickly, communicate now, open up. You see all these open umbrellas, open up and get moving, get going. You got to get off your ass. You've been sitting here for a very long time, holding on to something, refusing to see something, and this is go open up and open up now. And then a possible outcome here, 8 of Swords. So another 8. Oh my gosh. This whole bottom, we have 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands, and 8 of Swords. The 8s are lower down on our Kabbalah. They're like knights. They're communication. And they fall on the harsher side of that Kabbalah, like the 2 pillars, the harsher and the gentler. The 8 is over on the harsher side, and they're knights, they're about communication. So 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands, 8 of Swords. Something needing to be communicated or thoroughly thought about, all on this bottom line. Then we have 8 of Swords. This is a possible outcome. 8 of Swords is about self-limiting beliefs and having to deal with those. Crappy mantras, look, they feel trapped, they feel stuck. They aren't, it's open, they're free to go whenever they want to go, but it's their own mentality and their own inner monologue, their own thoughts that keep them trapped. They are free. So this is about dealing with your own thoughts, your own fears. You're not trapped here. You're not stuck. You're free to go. And the only way that you're stuck is because your mind keeps telling you that you're stuck, because you won't look up and see the opening. This is quite a mind trip, right? We've got this 2 of Swords. Not seeing something, refusing to see something you already know about. You've got fears of being cheated or lied to, or someone's being sneaky. And then right underneath that, we have 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords, leading directly to 8 of Swords, believing that there's nothing you can do about it. So it could be the 8 of Swords here is a warning about this 8 of Wands. If you don't open up, if you don't communicate, you could end up in a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're trapped because you believe you're trapped. You're clinging to your own unworthiness, to your own stuckness. You're clinging to this structure, and you don't realize that you're free. You're free to go, and there's a whole big universe around you that surrounds you. But your self-limiting beliefs won't let you see it. So that could be a possible outcome, is just being trapped by your own self-limiting beliefs. So I think that's why we're getting this, like, what lights you up. Focus on this part. Focus on the life. Focus on what lights you up. What seems like it might be bad could actually be quite good. Right? Because this angel's going to fly and have a good time as soon as he looks up and sees that. So open up. Share, communicate. Yeah. All right, Scorpio. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I will see you in a couple weeks.